Whoa, what is going on here? Good morning. We had a little mix up here. This is the BCM Podcast. I am the C. We've got the Bradley Swail is the B, and it's Jover, apparently.
Yeah, it is.
It's well, it might be. I guess we'll have a discussion about that. The C in the BCM Podcast is me, myself, and I, Charles Blain, and the M is Michael Searle. How are you guys doing?
I can't wear these sunglasses.
You guys lasted 46 seconds with your sunglasses.
I know, I couldn't see a thing, and so
sunglasses are not good for you. You shouldn't wear them.
Here we go. So what's fun? I'm kind of pumped about this one, or at least for the start of it, because you guys think I didn't listen to last week's podcast, but I did, and so
I was Berlin.
Huh?
I was Berlin.
I was, in fact, in Alabama, as you correctly told the people towards the end. But what is funny about, I have a lot to say about last week's podcast, but I can sum it up in the first couple of minutes of this show. As you said, I was not in Berlin. I was actually in Alabama for my grandmother's 80th birthday, and that was a great time. Biden was not cogent during that debate. I didn't one bit. It is a ridiculous claim. And yes, Berlin nightclubs are crazy. And I think we should have a brief discussion, because while I was not in Berlin at a Berlin nightclub, I do have a history of...
For those that missed last week's show, Charles met a woman in a Berlin nightclub, and let's just say he was 15th in line.
Yes, indeed. No, I think what's funny, honestly, is that you started talking about the nightclub stuff, and I spent a lot of time in nightclubs as a child. Well, not as a child.
As a child, with your Boys Connection app that you used? No, I spent a lot of times in nightclubs. Not a lot of time in nightclubs in my early 20s. So there was a period of heavy clubbing in the early 90s, and then it died out a bit. And so I grew up in New Jersey, but the New York area. And so it picked back up again in the mid 2000s when a lot of the clubs of the 90s closed. There was a brief period where it was dull. Then a number of them reopened in the mid 2000s. The biggest of them being Pasha, New York City. It was a big part of my life, meaning I spent probably 40 weekends out of the year there. If you never noticed this book I have sitting here, it's called No Sleep, NYC Nightlife Flyers, because it takes me back to my good old days of nonstop partying in New York City and thoroughly enjoying it. And because you brought that up, I guess I wanted to show, some pictures from that time period of my life, because I thought,
wow.
So I figured I'd just bring them up and we can. So this is me and my friend Claudine. This is another group of us at a show. This is my best friend Ryan and my best friend Aleka.
How drunk are you in that picture?
That's my friend Dami. This is me and my favorite DJ Cascade. This is just this was me. I was at Ultra Music Festival holding up my American flag, and everybody had me propped up as the confetti blasters were coming in. It was a great time. Ultra Music Festival again. I think that might have been Izu. I don't know. Ultra. That's Behind the Decks, because I loved to be behind the decks from time to time. An Ultra Music Festival again. Ultra, great time. That's me and my other favorite DJ, Dead Mouse, the one and only. And this is me backstage at Dead Mouse, having the time of my life. And so, all that to say, I did spend a decent amount of time in clubs in my younger years, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And they're going to be the best days of my life.
Now, I know that Miss Blain is listening. I have two questions. One, when someone from New Jersey says that they grew up in New York, how much does it piss off New Yorkers?
It depends on how much you actually grew up in New York, but a lot. But
you didn't grow up in New York, as you said, so probably making our New York listeners mad. Two, I know Miss Blain is watching, and we love you, Miss Blain. You're a favorite fan, as always, but I noticed some red eyes in some of those photos, Charles. And I noticed a lot of women not wearing a lot of clothes at EDM festivals, and I know what happens there.
There's music and there's dancing, and it's a great time, and that's it.
And yes, the red eyes are because they're very long, 8 hours, 9 hours, 12 hours. That's it. But
how do you have so much stamina to like go to a big concert party, dancing, all this stuff for 8, 9, 10 hours? How does that happen?
Red Bull and vodka, helps a lot during that time period. But thank you for indulging me for the first 5 minutes of the show. We have a lot of
Why are we not live?
I don't know. Should we be live?
I guess not anymore.
Did we tell people we're going live? Sorry, I forgot to set it live, I guess. That's my bad.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so we've got a lot to talk about. You guys talked about some of it last week. I figure we might as well just start with the Biden replacement theory because you guys talked about it last week. I think we've got some more information, some updates, some changes since then. Where do you guys stand today? Do you guys still think, well, your friend who estimated that 24 hours from the debate he'd be out is clearly incorrect. Yeah. So where does it stand today, guys?
Where does it stand today? I think still up in the air. But let me back up a little bit. We predicted this. Well, some of us predicted this years and months ago. Others were still like, oh, yeah, he's going to run. Uh-huh. Yeah, okay. But I think it's still up in the air. And here's what I think is happening. There are 3 factions right now. There's Biden stays in, which is primarily Biden's family and his close associates. And they're like cordoning everybody off. They're like not letting anybody in. And they're running this PR stunt, which is like the George Stephanopoulos interview that's happening tonight. I don't know if it airs tonight or if it's airing Saturday and Sunday. But
it is airing in part tonight and then the full thing Sunday.
Yeah. But it's edited and who knows what they're going to do with it. Who knows? But they're trying to run a PR stunt to say he's fine. And that's the Bidens. There's a second camp, which is Team Kamala, which is like, all right, get this. These are the people who are like, all right, he's got to go and it's got to be Kamala. That's camp 2. And then camp 3 is it's got to be someone new. And then among that group, there's a bunch of different people who they want it to be. But let's just, for the sake of this discussion, let's say it's 1, 2, 3. Biden stays, Kamala replaces him, or somebody else replaces him. I think in the end, group 3 is going to win, but TBD. What do you guys think of that?
Well, I mean, I guess I'm a little bit confused about your groups and like who's in these groups.
Why?
It seems, well, I mean, I don't know. Well, there's the donor class is not happy. Let's see. CNBC is reporting that Disney family heiress Abigail, what's her name? Abigail Disney. Is her last name Disney?
Probably. Who created Disney? What's his name? Yeah, Walt Disney. So yeah, probably Abigail Disney.
Yeah, but people get married.
If you had the last name Disney and you remember that family, would you ever change it?
To Rockefeller, maybe.
Her last name's Disney.
So Abigail Disney is saying that she's pausing donations until Democrats force Joe Biden to step down, and she joins some other wealthy Democrat donors who say they will stop giving until Biden is off the ticket post the debates.
Wow.
So
I mean, honestly, that's a big deal.
Yeah, well, I mean, the donor class is they're throwing their weight around, as they say, and a lot of people are upset because that's not how democracy is supposed to work, right? Our democracy is at stake, after all. I think it's going to be Kamala. It's got to be Kamala. Aren't there like campaign? Stop shaking your head. Stop shaking your head. Aren't there campaign? Stop it. Aren't there like campaign finance rules? Like they, him and Kamala, and let's admit it, it's called Mala that's attracting all the money. If he drops out, I don't think that money can transfer just to anybody. Or can it?
Charles, you want to smack him down or you want me to?
Oh my God, why do you have to smack me down? It's just a regular question.
You're always in the moment. You got to get out of the moment and look further. Remember when you predicted Nikki Haley would be president? That happened. Yeah. At the moment, the momentum is going in Kamala's direction. Here's what I would say about the campaign. Yes, there are rules that the money that Biden has raised to date can't go to anybody but Kamala. But it's $94 million.
Yeah.
It's not that much money in the grand scheme of things. They're going to spend $1 billion, $2 billion in the campaign, $94 million. Okay, yeah, they'd have to start over on that money, but they can raise it. Here's the other thing with Kamala. She has a 57% unfavorable rating. If you're going to swap out Joe Biden, why are you going to swap out Joe Biden? Because he can't run, which was obvious for years, and because you want to win. Kamala can't win. That's going to come. That is the next stage of this little process, is everybody realizing Kamala can't win. So then we get to stage 3.
Well,
Charles,
and I think they realize that, and they just hope they're like wishful thinking. But the money thing, I don't think is an issue, because if you got Abigail, take Abigail Disney for instance, she gave the maximum couple contribution. What is it, $5,600? She can give another $5,600 to any can. Like, those donors do not care about that money, and they can easily raise it from the Democratic base if they put a candidate in who they genuinely feel could win. Now, yeah, I'm the only place I split with Michael is I feel like they know Kamala can't win, and they are just kind of going through the motions until they figure out how to break it to the base. Because if they flip her out and switch someone else in, they're going to have a large portion of their Black Democratic base who's going to be like, how dare you do this? And so they're trying to figure out a way how to thread that needle carefully. She can't win, and I think they're trying to subtly introduce different people to see who could actually generate support. At this point, I think almost any one of them that is nationally known could maybe not win, but certainly have a better performance than Kamala or Biden. That being Whitmer, that being Newsom, I maybe Hochul. I don't know. I don't think she can win, but probably do better than the ones they have. And then there's a number of other ones who just, I guess, are lesser known. But I don't know if I was watching something separate and apart from this, or if you guys played it last week, but there was a Democrat announcing all these people that could win. And they were like congressmen from this person and like, no, we're not going to pull some random person who's never been on the national stage. But there's a lot of people who they do have waiting in the wings who could possibly, again, I don't know if they'll win, but could have a better performance than Kamala or Biden.
You guys are stuck in the past. You are burdened by what was when you should be unburdened by what can be.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been. You know? What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
Move your hat,
what
please.
Can be unburdened by what has been. What we can see, what we believe can be unburdened by what has. What can be unburdened by what has been. 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 Who we can be unburdened by who we have been.
She's like trying to be Obama.
Unburdened by
Guys,
what
this
has
is only
we can
four.
be,
This is less than a minute in, and it's 4 minutes long.
Unburdened by where we
Yeah,
are
I'm
right
already
now.
annoyed
What
by her
can be.
voice.
Some of these are really old.
Unburdened
She's
by
been
what-
saying this for like a decade, huh? Now, to be fair, the statement makes sense. Like, it is ridiculous that she keeps repeating and stuff, but I get what she's saying, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
me
well,
too.
you guys need to embody it when you're talking about her running for president. You are burdened by what has been, and you need to unburden yourself of what can be. Who cares that she dropped out first in 2020 and she had like a 1.6% of the votes or whatever? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares that people don't like her? Unburden yourself. You have little faith.
She's got to become more likable very fast, and I just don't see that happening. She is just, and the weird part is like when I watch her,
How does she do that? Does she do that under the desk or?
that's you know.
Oh, you really don't like it when I say mean things to Kamala Harris?
So I thought there was this. What makes me cringe, and I should have actually thought it. I didn't think of this until now. So Brad, if you could find it, it'd be great. But there was this video that she recently did with Taraji P. Henson, which is incredibly awkward, and I don't understand why people don't recognize when they do these really awkward things. And so it's Taraji P. Henson in the dressing room of, I guess.
How do you spell Taraji? I know your video you're talking about. How do you spell Taraji?
Taraji.
Okay.
And so she's in this dressing room and she's talking to Kamala via FaceTime or whatever. And
she's not talking to her.
Well, yeah, obviously she's not really talking to her. But Kamala she just keeps saying these cringy. Go ahead, please.
The BET Awards. Why is there a Comedy Central logo at the bottom?
Because they played it on
It's a fucking joke.
And freedom and equality But these extremists,
Look at that. The fakest FaceTime I've ever seen in my life. Only 30 seconds.
as they say, they not like us. They not. There's a full-on attack on our fundamental freedoms. The freedom
All
to
right, we don't
vote.
have to listen anymore.
Okay, hold on, Charles. I have to ask you because, I mean, it's at the BET Awards, right? And so they're obviously targeting black voters, and you are a black voter. Those that are not watching but listening, when they say they, what did she say? They
Not like us.
They not like us, and then Taraji says, no, they not. Like, is that demeaning to you?
No. Because they're not saying, she's not saying it because of the vernacular. She's using a pop culture reference. So Kendrick Lamar's song "They Not Like Us" is what she's saying because she knows that that's in the news right now. You even sent it in our chat before talking about trending, and so she's using that because she knows that a lot of black people are amped up because of the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef, and "They Not Like Us" is very popular right now. So that's what she's doing. And to be fair, it is a very it's so stupid to even, I mean, but talking like that is also fine because there's a lot of times where I want to tweet something and I'm like yesterday, I had to give my dog trazodone it's an anxiety medication because it was going to be fireworks. And I was going to tweet, this trazodone be kicking my dog's ass, because that's how I would say it. So I'm not offended that she would say it like that, but she's going out of her way to do this because she thinks it appeals to black people. And it's just so stupid. And I don't understand how she doesn't see it and people around her don't see it.
Michael?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Kamala's not running. You made the point. She got 1% in the primary, the Democratic primary, against Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren and Pete Buttigieg, whatever you say his name. How is she going to get the popular vote? She's not. They're not going to swap it out with somebody that's not going to win. So then we're on to somebody else. And how do we know that there's this feud going on between the Democratic Party right now? Because in 3 years, not a single thing leaked from the White House. It was like Fort Knox. Both don't have gold. And in the last 3 days, it's been like the last week, it's been like a sieve. There's so many leaks coming from so many places. And I just think they're time's on their side, so they don't need to make a decision soon. And this battle is going to keep playing itself out. And I just think the likely outcome, if you get what the motivation is somebody else. You know who I think it is, but
Yeah, I agree. I think it's either, but I did see something come out from her office yesterday that said she is not interested.
Of course she said that.
I think if they really wanted to win, they would convince Oprah to step in. Like they would, and Oprah, I don't think would say no. She'd probably consider, if they really wanted to win, they would win in a landslide if they put Oprah or Michelle Obama, I think would still win. I think Oprah would win by a larger landslide.
Oprah, who is the other one? I think you cut out.
Michelle Obama?
I don't know who that is. Michael?
Do I know who it is?
No. Michael. Are you talking about Michael Obama?
Yeah, her. Yeah.
Him, I think. What if it was is there any chance in hell that, Michelle, I know, whatever, Michelle, since you don't like it when I say Michael, I'll say Michelle, Charles. Since Michelle, she's saying she doesn't want to do it, right? But maybe they could get her, who knows? But let's say that they're not. Do you really think they're going to go for Oprah? What about an Oprah Obama ticket? Who's on top, who's on bottom?
I don't know. I don't think they're really going to go for Oprah. I'm just saying, if they want to do a Hail Mary pass, Oprah has said she considered it before. I think she was talking about how she wanted The Rock to be her VP last time she was considering it. And so it's in the ethos out there. But no, I don't think she would actually do it.
You don't think Oprah would?
I don't know that they would actually go to her and genuinely try to convince her to do it.
Well, it seems like there's a hierarchy, right? You got to go through the motions. You got to go through the gauntlet of the DNC, start at the bottom, work your way to the top. Right, unless you're a CIA asset like Pete Buttigieg.
Not necessarily.
I'm sorry. Okay, my mistake.
Well, he is a Manchurian candidate, but when they went and got Obama, he was like a second-term senator, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
He
I
was
don't even
like-
know if he was second term. It might have been first term. But
Was
yeah,
he a
term
state
senator?
senator or was he a U.S. senator?
U.S. But he was in his first. I
Right?
think he was in his
a
first.
second term U.S. senator. You're moving through the ranks,
Not really.
Yeah.
starting with nothing.
They want to win. They had to give Hillary a run at it. Look,
No. Here's a no.
we
Here's,
could
wait.
we
Before
could-
we switch,
yeah.
Obama was in office, was a U.S. senator for 3 years before. 3
Yeah.
years before he became president.
Point being, they'll break protocol if they feel like they can find a candidate that can help them win. I don't know. We can speculate all we want about who it's going to be. I don't think we know. I think the first question is it going to be Biden? I think that's pretty clear. He can try to go clean it up on George Stephanopoulos, but that can't be unseen. It's Jover, as your background says.
Yeah, it is.
And he can't run. This is what I said when we did the predictions earlier in the year. He can't run. Like, what are we talking about? He's 155 years old. Like, he has he has early dementia or whatever he has. He can't run, let alone run the country. So, like, he's going to try to hold on to power, but ultimately it's not up to him.
Well, the problem is if he tries to hold on to power, and he chooses not to do any more debates, that's going to become a problem as well. Like, how do you not do any more debates? But how do you do more debates? It's just
there's no way he can clean it up.
If he were to do a full, 2-3 hour sit down interview Sunday evening, the way they used to do with Barbara Walters and I can't think of the other lady's name, like that kind of thing, and he actually was able to do it unedited live, I think he would be able to clean it up. But what they're doing is they're doing this interview tonight. They're going to show clips of it this evening, and then they're going to show the full thing Sunday, which is probably going to be edited as well, and going to pretend like, this is great, no gas, phenomenal, wonderful. If it is bad, they're not going to show those parts that are bad.
Depending on which camp they're in.
Who, ABC? Oh,
Yeah.
right. True. Yeah, fair.
Maybe they will show the gaffes. I mean, as an example, I sent you that press conference. The first press conference after his debate performance, he said, "End of quote." What are we doing? Go on. Let's move on from Joe. It's over.
Well, I guess maybe this top. Oh,
She said, in every use of official power, the president is now a king above the law. With fear for our democracy, I dissent. End of quote.
that's gracious. It's Jover. Yes.
It's Jover, fellas.
So when do I ask Adam Lowy to pay up? Do I have to wait till it actually happens, or
Yes.
can I?
Because what if he gets out and gets back in?
Who should I make Adam Lowy give the money to? Because the bet was $100 to our charity of choice, and I really want to make it pretty painful for him. So just let's be throwing around some ideas. Maybe Free Palestine or something.
Uh-oh.
No,
He would probably never talk to me again if I did that.
This topic was great. Before we switch out, one thing I do want to say, Brad, you asked if that part offended me as a black. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I saw this.
Very
At
creepy
least,
stuff.
at least the guy's not 12 like the normal ones that he does that to.
Why don't you explain for those not watching what we just saw?
That was President Joe Biden meeting Charles Blain and rubbing his arm.
Anyway, why? Because that man was black? Is that why?
What do you mean? That wasn't
Anyway,
you?
what I will say before we leave this subject, the one thing that does, Taraji P. Henson and a lot of black celebrities do this, and they play to the least common denominator. It's so annoying. Is there's a video of her from months ago where she's giving a speech to a group of black women, and I don't know if this is just a black thing. I know black people do it, but when we laugh in a group, you like run away, maybe and I don't know what was that.
I don't know why can y'all hear that? I don't understand.
Anyway, so
You need to not hear things. I'm trying to pull up a video for whatever I think is coming next. But go on.
So we will often like run. It's stupid. Anyway, she tells this group that the reason that Black people run away when they laugh is because it's in our bones from slavery because we were not allowed to laugh.
Run away when you laugh?
Yeah, like
is it something Black people do?
Yeah,
I don't understand. Okay,
like if I'm in a group and you say something funny, like I'm gonna run away.
Why?
I don't know. It's just something we do. It's a cultural thing.
No, I don't think that that's true. I've hung out with Black people, and let me tell you, I've made them laugh.
There are memes of it. There are video. It's true. It's a thing. Not every Black person does it, obviously, but it's a thing. And she says it's because it's in our bones from slavery because we were not allowed to laugh. And so, but that's obviously not true. Anyway, next topic. What do you want it to be?
Why do you run away when you laugh, Charles?
I think it's just. I don't run away when I laugh all the time, but if I'm standing there, I'll like, this conversation is done.
Why? I'm trying to bridge the cultural divide here, man.
This is one where there will be no bridging.
I'm just trying to rap with you, man. Come on.
I don't know. Why don't you put seasoning in your food? Like, I don't have an answer.
Why do I put seasoning in my food? Why do you wash your chicken?
Because it's not clean when you get it.
Oh boy.
Okay, I'm glad we got to the bottom of it.
And what do you mean? Salt's not seasoning? Give me a break. All right.
Well, war's over this just for you to use salt and pepper. It's unbelievable. Anyway, what do you want the next topic to be? Because you have something queued up.
No, you're the fucking host, dude.
I'd love to know whatever you have queued up. It's fine.
I mean, I just thought because you brought up Taraji P. Henson. I don't know why this lady is all over the place all of a sudden, but I mean, that's fucking. I thought we were going to talk about Project 2025.
What does that have to do with Taraji P. Henson?
Well, what do you think? I'm just like pulling up random shit. It has to do with Project 2025, obviously, and that's why I'm confused why this lady, this wonderful lady, it keeps popping up.
She keeps popping up because she hosted the BET Awards, which was just this past weekend, and so there's a lot of clips of her. She spoke at the BET Awards about how this election is the most important because we have 3 Supreme Court seats that are up. That's what she said, and she also said that Project 2025 is coming up, and I think that's probably what you'd like to play. But if you want to play it, go ahead.
Maybe she's running.
And then here's a white lady to explain it all to us. So that's Taraji. She, homelessness, being homeless is now a crime. Look it up. Look it up, guys. Taraji said it. Look it up. It's a crime.
It's pathetic. I mean, this is what a lot of Black celebrities will do is use these scare tactics and say things like "look it up." When you look it up, you won't find that homelessness is now illegal. And the Supreme Court ruling that she referenced does not do that either.
But you will find that. You will find that homelessness is a crime if you look it up.
What do you mean?
I looked it up.
I know, and you'll find story after story and tweet after tweet that homelessness is a crime. No one's going to read the statutes. No one's going to read the Supreme Court decision. They're just going to read whatever this white lady's name is from MSNBC. They're going to read
Nicole
her telling people. Huh?
Nicole Wallace.
Lucy Lawless?
Nicole Wallace.
I would be a lot better if it was Lucy Lawless. You know what I mean? Y'all don't even know who that is, do you?
I know the
Oh
name.
my God, you too. Insufferable. So yeah, whatever. They are going to find it if they look it up. Go on, Charles.
Fair. They will find it if they look it up. And so this is separating this from the Black voting issue. Project 2025 is a plan that was put together by, I believe, the Heritage Foundation kind of led the effort and then pulled in a coalition that's now in 100 plus maybe of organizations, conservative and right-leaning organizations across the country that are building out a platform for the next president to be successful. I think what we've recognized the last Republican president was that you can get in, but if you don't have people to fill these institutions immediately, and if you don't have plans ready to go, it becomes very difficult to get everything underway. And before you know it, you're 4 years in and you're still filling appointments. And so this program seems to tackle some of that. Similarly, the American First Policy Institute says that that's what their goal is as well. And I didn't see them listed as a coalition partner on this, so I don't know if they're doing their own thing. But yes, this is it. And the Democrats are saying that this is the scariest thing since I don't know what.
Well, Donald Trump has his own Agenda 47, which is, agenda. You got to say agenda and then a number. It makes me think of Agenda 20, Agenda 21, Agenda 30. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Michael knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I know that.
But I mean, all of this. I mean, it's not like this sounds all that bad. Am I not allowed to say that?
You're canceled. I don't like how there's only one thing on taxes. Like, I feel like this is
lower taxes on big corporations. Okay.
What about people?
Well, the corporations are just going to pass along the tax onto the people, their customers. So it's lowering taxes for everybody, making costs lower.
Well,
you're going to gut federal workforce and install loyalists by making tens of thousands of civil servants fireable at Trump's will. Isn't that already the case for the president?
Wait, what is this?
Yeah, where are you looking at this?
Plan for Trump's second term, man. This is what I find when I look up Project 2025. This is what, since I found it, other people are finding it. This is a tweet that is very popular. 2.2 million views. From Kelly at KelDA, and she has 68.6 thousand followers.
That doesn't. Okay, so she has.
It doesn't matter if it's true or not. It's what people are seeing. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as the is homelessness criminal? Or they look it up? Are they going to find it? Yes, they will. It doesn't matter if it's not true.
Correct. You're right.
Michael, what's up?
No, I don't accept the left's framing. So I'm gonna. Yeah, it matters what people think, but what is Project 2025? It's a 1,000-page document, and it says a lot more than what you was just on the screen. Here was my takeaway. I didn't read all 1,000 pages, but I looked at quite a bit of it. Directionally, it seems
he looked at the table of contents.
No, directionally, it seems pretty good, but it's not. The way Bannon and some of the America First people are talking about it is like that it's they call it deconstructing the administrative state. I don't really know that that's necessarily true. It looks like it's taking the administrative state and making it conservative.
Yeah.
And you might like that. I probably like things in that. That's great. But is that really what we should be doing with the administrative state? I thought we wanted to dismantle it. So I didn't read it all. There are probably steps to make it smaller in there. Like, for example, they recommended dismantling the Department of Homeland Security, taking some of the things that it does and putting them in different agencies, but like getting rid of the agency itself. Oh, heck yeah. But it's the document is so big that part of the reason it's easy to clip stuff up and change the reality about what is actually being recommended is because there's so many components. If they would just build it around some themes that you could put in bullet points, like what Brad just put up on screen, I think they would have a better job messaging it. And well, I'll stop there and then I can tell you guys what I think should be in there.
Well, I was just going to say, I agree with you wholeheartedly, because I think the issue is that it's just replacing people we don't like and putting people we do like to handle the same levers and then do things that we supposedly like rather than reducing the size. And my issue is that it falls into the trap that conservatives always fall into, which is in terms of not the actual policy, but in terms of messaging and marketing. No average person is going to read that and then take away from that, this is why we should elect a Republican president. You need to make it digestible, and we don't ever do that. We need to make it very pedestrian. We need to make it so that people can see this and understand it, and we don't do that. And it looks like it's a policy wonk document, and that's fine for people who want to read that kind of stuff. But my issue with government in general and with a lot of the think tank leaders today is that you get this policy that does not match what's happening on the ground or does not message to what's happening on the ground because they're not on the ground. And so you have a lot of people talking about things and it's completely going over the head of the average person because they don't know what the average person's dealing with and they don't know how to talk to the average person. And so I wish they would bridge that gap a bit and make it at least understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, you say that the average person doesn't read documents like this, but does the average person read?
I mean, they would read a bullet point thing that you put up there.
Yeah, maybe they'd glance at some bullet points. Maybe, sure. Yeah.
Truly though, but that's who you're trying to get to. That's who you're really trying to get to.
And
or have it in a short YouTube video. Like that's what when I sent you guys I was like, okay, can somebody summarize this for me so I don't have to read it all? And they don't even have any sort of marketing for it like that. All you could find was the left going hysterical on YouTube about Project 2025.
Well, it's YouTube for you, right? That's trying to scare people.
Yeah, the algorithm for sure.
Speaking of algorithms, I want to show you this real quick about Project 2025. This is from Reddit Lies. Mentions of Project 2025 on Reddit before and after the Trump-Biden presidential debate. It went from 48 mentions per hour to over 200 mentions per hour. That's some scaremongering.
So yeah, for sure. Interesting thing, Kevin Roberts leaves Heritage. He used to be the head of Texas Public Policy Foundation. So I think we should try to have him on the show. I'll ask him. I've also heard his name, and we can make the case to him. Like you need to synthesize this into something people can grab onto.
I don't think they want to.
Maybe not. Well, it's a comprehensive document. I think what they want to do is they want to find people to be in places or put people in agencies and then say, implement this. This is the comprehensive, this is what we want to do. And I get that, but there also needs to be marketing around it that you can synthesize it and communicate to people. But let's ask him to come on the show and talk about it. That can be done. And if he's involved, I know that good stuff is in there.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, as far as the federal agencies go, if this is about the administrative state, it's like Church Commission 2.0. That's first thing. Second, mass declassification project. We're just going to declassify a ton of stuff. Third is eliminating private funding for agencies that creates perverse incentives. I'm thinking big pharma funding the FDA. And then fourth is like, can we have a sunset program that compares what the agency does to the Constitution? And if it's doing things outside of the constitutional framework, then let's just eliminate it. That's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like reducing the size of government.
Yeah.
Which is what you guys were saying is not going to happen.
I mean, it's progressivism going the speed limit, right? That tends to be conservatives' strategy, is just to go slower, and there's a lot of reasons for that. But yeah, the objective should be to restore the constitutional framework of government. That's what the conservative objective should be. There's just competing objectives that get in the way a lot of times.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I think about the document. I think their objective is to implement this certain policy, and by nature of implementing certain policy, it will reduce some areas of government, but the goal there isn't to reduce government, which I wish it was. I mean, I wish that was the case. But just my overall issue is that I can't take that and go to a civic club that I'm speaking at, next week that's concerned about inflation and may want to vote differently because of what they saw and sell that to them, because I don't even know what it all says. I can't go and sell that and give them an alternative and say, hey, if you vote for the Republican, this is what you're going to get. And they're not going to go read that themselves. And so I need, Republicans need to do better at that. We never do. It's something that we always miss the mark on. Just like in the campaign side, when you go on Twitter and you see this guy, Harry Sisson, and all these other progressive influencers who have a 30-second video where they're rattling off a bunch of stuff that's not even really accurate, but it's short and it's compelling and it's interesting and it has thousands of retweets, and now people believe everything they're seeing.
Yeah. We suck at that. But on the inflation side, in the Federal Reserve portion of that document, which I did read part of it, they said we should reduce the balance sheet of the Federal Reserve to zero.
Interesting.
And for people who are just listening, that means the Federal Reserve prints money and then buys treasuries to prop up the US dollar and the US debt, they're saying, and they buy not just treasuries, but stocks and things like that too. So they're saying to stop doing that, which it does create inflation and prop up it props up the stock market too.
Does it say anything about immigration?
Certainly does.
Yeah, probably.
It's got to say something, right? Does it say deport them?
Maybe not in as many words, but
I mean, I don't know how you say it in fewer words.
Maybe in more words. Sorry.
Here you go. It's in DHS. It says, and DHS move it, but a successful DHS would secure and control the border. thoroughly enforce immigration laws, correctly and efficiently adjudicate immigration benefit applications while rejecting fraudulent claims. There's a lot of things here. Secure the cyber domain and collaborate with critical infrastructure sectors to maintain their security. Provide states and localities with a limited federal emergency response and preparedness. Secure our coasts and economic zones. Protect political leaders, their families, and visiting heads of states of government, and oversee transportation security.
Oh my God! How's anybody supposed to read this?
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
well, I mean, that doesn't sound like it does enough for immigration, but
well, we'll see. I mean, they're still working on it. They're still adding coalition partner. I mean, I don't know if they're still working on it, but I know they regularly add coalition partners. So maybe it gets further developed. Maybe that's it. I know there's other plans out there, like you said, Agenda 47. I think AFPI has stuff. So we'll see.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, it's better than the whack-a-mole approach of the first Trump administration, which was like he just came in and put people around him he thought were good, and a lot of them were bad, and they didn't really have an agenda. So it's at least trying to provide some framework for them to operate and be effective. So the goal is commendable.
Yes. So on to some lighter topics, since those were both very heavy discussions. I'm curious about something, and
yeah, you are.
It goes into our health and wellness topics. One thing that you guys have either implemented or taken out of your life that has changed or significantly improved your health and wellness, and that could be physical health, mental health, overall wellness, whatever. But what's one thing that you guys have taken away, implemented, changed that you've noticed a measurable impact from?
Michael Searle, take it away.
Oh, me first?
Sure.
Oh, I could go so many different directions with this, and I'll say two because
no, we said one. That's no. Go ahead. You can say two.
Okay, then you want specific or broad?
No, go with your two. Go with your two.
Okay. This one's I'm going to be like a broken record. Intention. Setting intentions for yourself, and that goes for all parts of your life. But I do have a health and wellness section. It's a game changer. You know what you're trying to achieve, so then you organize your life around those goals, and it made a huge difference for me. And when I first started it, I did have physical health, mental health, and spiritual health separated out. So it was like every day I'm doing something to improve those, and I have monthly goals, yearly goals, and so on. Before that, I didn't have any goals, so I was just like, I kind of ate healthy and did a pretty decent job, but until you have intention, you know where you're going. It's just that's a huge game changer. Second, more specifically, stop smoking cigarettes, folks. I was a smoker for a long time, and it just, in so many ways, it's just so detrimental to your health. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's really hard to quit. I did it, but that was a game changer in terms of health.
That's a big deal. Good job for you for quitting that.
You were a vegan, so I question how really healthfully you ate what you're talking about.
I was a vegan.
Is it my turn or are you on, Charles?
Your turn.
My turn. Well, I guess I think I look at it differently than Michael. I think he uses the word intention. I use the word vision. Having a vision for the future and being able to picture that in your mind, what you're trying to achieve, and actually be able to visualize that. Having that picture, having that sort of movie playing in your head of where you want to be and what you want to be doing, so that you can start taking steps today to get to that, to make that a reality, right? And I think that it's something that I've been doing for a while now, and to varying degrees of success. But it's how people it's like the same advice that like Arnold Schwarzenegger gives for how he became Mr. Olympia. He was a child, and he was a young teenager or whatever, started working out, and he had this vision of becoming Mr. Olympia, and he did everything he could to work towards that. If you don't have the vision, then you're just sort of playing day by day, which there's, I think, benefit to, like living in the moment, sure. But what are you working towards? Like it can create anxiety and lack of hope and stuff like that, because you don't know what the ultimate goal is. And I guess I could give a second. No, I won't. That's fine.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I think
you want to. I mean, if you want to.
Sure, I will. I think that I think that there's certainly some benefit from psychedelics. Michael loves it.
Yeah,
Michael loves it.
He was just scared to say it himself.
No, I'm not. I mean, it's. I think that there's a lot of benefit, especially from like psilocybin. And I mean, I think that there's, people say LSD and other stuff, but I don't. That seems a little bit more, I don't know, intense. But I think that there's some benefit from psychedelics. I'm not recommending anybody do them because I'm not your doctor. I'm not your health coach. I'm not your guru. All right. I don't know what your life situation is, but there's plenty of evidence to say that stuff like that is very beneficial for a lot of mental health issues and helping you see the world and interact with your subconscious.
Do we have some recent and personal experience?
Michael, what are you talking about? I spent my 4th of July just like any other red-blooded American.
Oh, well, we'll continue that conversation post-show. And it's interesting, though, because like 2 or 3 days ago, Congressman Dan Crenshaw, there was a video of him talking about a bill, I guess he filed, or maybe passed, that expands PTSD treatment to include more psychedelics or something like that. And because of all the research showing of how good that is. So I don't know, but I'll get back to you guys on that one.
MDMA, probably? What
about it?
He was probably talking about MDMA, I would assume.
Oh, I don't know, honestly. Unfortunately.
I mean, even Rick Perry's was out there, a couple of years ago trying to promote MDMA for vets and PTSD.
I believe it used to be used in therapy, if I'm not mistaken. So
that was why it was created in the 1960s for therapists to get their patients to take their walls down, and then they classified it and made it illegal. But speaking from personal experience, yeah, you're feeling a lot better and wanting to share all sorts of things when you're.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
At a music festival.
I think there were some pictures. I think there were some pictures at the beginning of the show.
Mine is one, stretching. Stretching. I truly, honestly, and about a year ago, I started like working more mobility and stretching into my overall fitness routine. And I did not realize until I started stretching just how like stiff and just immobile, if you will, I was. And how much better I feel and how much better my workouts feel and everything like that since I started stretching. So that's been great. I mean, truly just changed me. Like regular pain, shoulder pains, back pains, things that I've always had have gone away from doing that regularly and consistently. And so that's been good. And then I think the other thing for me, it's been journaling. I've been journaling for probably maybe close to 10 years. I've God knows how many journals over here, but it's been so helpful because it gets everything out of my mind that just kind of bounces around in there. And then I don't ever really intentionally go back and look at it, but occasionally I might go back to reference something and I recognize that I start to see different themes throughout the years and throughout the months of things that kept coming up that I forgot about, or just other things that I could draw connections to. And so it gets things out of my head. It reduces my anxiety. It's helped my writing, my professional writing, get better as well. And so that's been something that's been really, really huge for me. And even when I'm writing, it has helped me come up with things that I might have either forgotten or repressed. They just kind of come out as I start writing. And so it's been really nice. And I absolutely love that. And I try to do it daily. I haven't been doing it daily as much lately, but I do try to get in there and get some pages in every few days just because it really, really helps. And I just hope no one ever finds my stash of about 15 journals, because Lord knows.
There's a new segment on the show starting next week. You pull out any journal and you pick a random page and you read it.